So I would like to invite, Ms. Anna Peter and her team, Kavitha and Venkatalaxmi. Anna is the Senior DGM at Bharat Electronics Limited. A warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, sir. So I think, can we start with our presentation straight away?
Absolutely. No, we'd love to hear more of your ideas and thoughts on the same. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Perfect. You can put it in a screen mode, presentation mode. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Anna. And welcome to your team again. And really glad to have you here and the team. And our regards to Praveen, who could not make it, but certainly we would have loved to have him as well. So all over to you, Anna. Your 25 minutes start now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Actually, I would like to first thank QAI for giving us this time to present one of our best practices as part of the high maturity best practices presentation. And in fact, our relation with QAI is more than 20 years old. And we represent the Bharat Electronics Software Division. Myself, Senior DGM, as Pradeep has introduced, and my team, Kavitha and Venkatalaxmi, are managers at V&D testing in software SBU BEL. And our company is Navratna Public Sector Unit, established in 1954 under the Ministry of Defense in India. And initially, it was focusing purely on electronics, products, and components for defense. At present, we are operating in the strategic electronics in defense and other non-defense segments. And it's a multi-unit company. We have around 9 units across India, and we have multiple products ranging from radars, weapon systems, and communication. And of course, we are focusing on many civilian products, which include the electronic voting machine and ventilators, as well as homeland security, smart city solutions. And the recent addition to our product range is software focus, the software products and services. The software SBU is actually having a professional competency which ranges from certified project management professionals, software quality professionals, software testers and test managers, penetration testers and ethical hackers, reliability and quality engineers, Six Sigma professionals, both green belts and black belts, and auditors in the ISO streams. And the software development, our software business offerings focus on software development and maintenance in all the domains that BL is handling, as well as quality and assurance services, which include independent verification validation, software quality audits, IT security audits, vulnerability assessment, and penetration testing. Just taking a look at our continual improvement journey, like we heard from the Capgemini team about doing, being, then thinking, and finally, so they have also brought the final culture, the cultural changes. So a similar journey we have also taken, wherein initially we were at the ISO certified, and then we went ahead with basically the proving phase, wherein the evidences were more important, evidences in maturity. And we went on to software CMM level 4 in 2004. Later, we focused more on practicing it in the real sense. And then we became software CMMI development model maturity level 5, initially version 1.2, then version 1.3, and presently we are at version 2.0. In addition to that, at present, we have gone ahead from practicing phase to aligning our own practices, our own processes to the true process model, and in the true sense, living, breathing, and thriving in it. So we are having our software processes at IEEE 12207. We are certain empanel for performing IT security audits. Our QMS is ISO 9001, ISMS is ISO 27001, and we also are ITSM certified ISO 20000. In addition, we are the DRDO SEMILAC approved for performing independent verification and validation. So now going ahead, basically one point is that up to the 2018, we were working purely as a part of BL's R&D division. So it was more like software products and services for our internal projects. But after 2018, we started focusing on external business. So the business achievable, we started looking at, based on the high maturity practices, business performance modeling we have done. The business achievable is focusing on turnover from the software products and services. We have seen from the sensitivity that basically the business achievable was highly sensitive on, of course, the overall productivity and on the defect elimination in-house. And it is negatively affected by defects beyond system testing. That is, defects lead to factory acceptance test and later is negatively affecting the business achievable. So if we go ahead, the causal analysis, when we perform, we are seeing that the productivity is negatively affected by rework towards the later stage. And of course, defects at FAT can be reduced by increasing defects elimination in-house, which is a very obvious thing. As we see the defect curve, large amount of defects are sourced at early stage, while in steps, we end up detecting the defects and the cost of elimination of defect increases as we go ahead. Beyond system testing, the cost to eliminate defect is too high. When we analyzed our own factory acceptance test defects and operational field defects, we have seen that we went on improving our maturity. Functional defects capturing was increasing consistently right from 1997 right up to 2015-16. We saw functional defects capture. We have matured so much. But then after functional defects, we saw that there is usability and security related issues that is coming out. So going ahead, we saw that usability defects and the related reworks at factory acceptance test and later stage were quite high. And if we don't build in user experience right from the beginning, we cannot just rely upon finding the user issues, usability issues at the end of development. The classic leaning tower of Pisa is saying, no, at the end, now that we are going to utilize it, what is the defect? It is impossible to correct or rework cannot be done at this stage. Hence, we need to build in the quality right from beginning. And there are several usability issues that we found in projects. A sample I brought out here. I don't want to read out the entire list because time is very important. But all of us are understanding like too many clicks, too many levels of menu nesting, then flashy UI, too much of the lack of search, help, contact info in a form, then the form doesn't get saved before the submission, all such kind of issues. So looking at software usability, the thing is to get a good quality of the software, usability assessment has to be built in throughout the SDLC. That is, the core purpose is to ensure that the user experience finally is quite high. And also to benchmark the product that we deliver against standards such as we are making use of ISO IEC 9126 and usability standards 9241 and also the Squire or 25010. So there are various usability parameters and attributes against which we are benchmarking our products. And the key aspect in the usability assessment is getting the user himself or a set of user representative user group to test our products in order to assess the user experience and identify the pain points. Usability assessment is not just testing. We established a test facility or an assessment facility in our QA lab in the software division in 2016-17. The usability testing per se is conducted by making use of a representative size of at least 5 users and in multiple rounds. But that is not it. Right from the beginning, from concept evolution stage and requirement stage, we do UI prototype reviews. During design, we review the design aspects of usability. And then we have built in the usability assessment and analysis as a recurring activity during the software development process. This helps in improving the software's usability and hence the user experience is improved. Now, it can be a traditional waterfall model, it can be an incremental model, it can be an agile model. But we do have stages such as requirement, design development, and validation. So during requirements, we are focusing on the usability requirements, elicitation of UI requirements, prototyping, wireframe models, paper model reviews, etc., to improve the usability at requirement stage itself. Then looking at design and development, we focus on user-centric design and design reviews, as well as implementation and code reviews. Then at validation stage, we brought in the major difference here at validation by introducing one new concept called the usability testing. So the test plan brings in the usability test scenarios. The team from representative user teams are identified. Setup is performed, especially we are having our UA lab, wherein we are doing the usability assessment, perform the usability assessment, record the entire exercise, analyze the results against the standards as applicable, then provide the usability benchmarking report and continually improve upon that. This is how we have brought in the change in the user experience. And the assessment process, if we look at it, we see one part of it, which is exactly the previous SDLC or the software development lifecycle with requirements, UI prototyping and requirement review, designing and design review, development and code review. But we have strengthened this existing process, adding usability and user experience guidelines and checklists. But at validation stage, we have introduced a new concept of usability testing during validation. And by this, we have resulted in enhanced user experience. Now, going ahead, I would now invite my colleague KAVITHA to explain a little bit about the usability test environment and the testing process.
Ma'am, so as we can see here, the usability test environment comprises of the participant executing the task. When the participant is executing the actual software, all the user actions, including the audio video, gets recorded. In parallel to that, there is an usability observer who makes use of the expert checklist and guidelines to record the noting of whatever the participant is doing. Then this exercise is repeated for all the users, and at the end of the participant execution completion, each of the user will be asked to fill in the survey questionnaires. The entire recording with the observations noting will then be subjected to analysis by the usability analyst. The results are reported. Usability results reporting, as ma'am has already mentioned, will be in accordance with ISO/IEC 9241 and 9126 standards. See, in accordance with 9241 standards, we measure the effectiveness, efficiency, and the system usability scale measurements. With respect to 9126, we have attractiveness, operability, learnability, and the understandability aspects measured for the software. Now let's see some of the sample charts. Ma'am, can you please move on to the next slide? Ma'am, please move on to the next slide.
I guess there is some little difficulty. There is some net related problem. Yeah, sorry for the delay.
So we can here is a sample representation of some of the usability assessment measurements. As I have already mentioned, the effectiveness of participants in percentage, we can see here the participant 5 has got only 30% in the sense that he could not accomplish the set task. Then average time on task is more for the participant number 7. Then system usability score, which is in turn reflecting the feedback what the user representatives have given at the end of the exercise execution is what is depicted here. We can see participant 1, 2, and 3 have given more than 80%, whereas participant 6 and 7 have given a score of around 62%. Then average mouse clicks, this depicts the overall number of clicks that the users have incorporated in order to accomplish the set task. So now I would like to invite my colleague VENKATALAXMI to take over the final presentations of usability measurement.
Thank you, madam.
We are not able to hear you, Venkatalakshmi.
Sorry, sir. Thank you, Madam and Kavitha, for giving the overview of usability recording, analysis, and measurements collection. We will see the usability reporting. Our usability report covers the usability charts, usability assessment findings, and improvements. Here is a sample radar chart depicted here with usability measurements for one of the executed projects. From this chart, at one glance, we can observe operability is lower than the other usability metrics. So with the aim of improving the operability, we provide usability findings and improvements. Let us see some sample usability assessment findings and improvements given for this project. Madam, can you switch over to the next slide? Ma'am, can you switch over to next slide?
Yeah, just it is taking some time changing to the slide.
Here, there is a sample usability assessment findings and improvements given for this project. All the UI controls need to have unique labels, data type of data fields to be clear, ambiguity of UI controls to be avoided to ease the operability, context desired acknowledgement messages to be displayed for better understanding, visibility of emergency message button to be different from other normal buttons, ambiguity due to repeated icons. Some of the sample improvements are operability to be improved as per the benchmarking report, reduce mouse click counts, reduce levels of menu nesting, reduce average time on task, permission for saving the draft forms to be given before submission, consistent and appropriate acknowledgements, display on data submission, custom recommendations as per standards. With these inputs and closures of the findings, we will enhance the software usability. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Kavitha. Thank you, Venkatalaxmi. Actually, I think there is some minor delay with the internet. That is why the slides are taking some time to change. I am sorry about that. Because of that reason, we have switched off our video also. I hope it will.
That should be okay.
Yeah, so coming towards how we could see the improvement in our business performance, we have seen after introduction of these improvements, focused improvements in the usability testing and usability assessment through the SDLC, we have seen that at validation stage, because of the validation testing inclusion of usability, we are seeing that there is a drastic improvement in the number of defects that we are able to eliminate in-house. And similarly, there is a definite reduction in the number of defects getting detected at FAT. Because of that, the rework also has definitely reduced through the SDLC. When we take the total rework cost has come down after these improvements are set in place. Now, if we look at it, the organization has gone continuously from improving through the continual maturity journey. We have definitely improved the productivity continuously, reduce the factory acceptance test and operational defects continuously, because obviously we were setting in much of continual improvement as we went on improving our process model focus. But around 2015-16, we came to see that we have reached a level of maturity where by improving functionality testing alone, we are not able to go further. The same plateauing also we could see in our customer satisfaction index. But the moment we analyzed our business performance against what has to be achieved further, we found and tackled issues such as usability, and our quality started improving. We saw a sudden jump in the customer satisfaction as well as sudden improvement in the productivity because of the reduction in rework. And we could see that the usability defects, which is shown in this bar chart with that pink color, the usability defects percentage in the factory acceptance test, we are seeing that there is a drastic reduction and it's almost nearing zero right now. So this is the improvement we are seeing. To sum up the whole thing, our continual improvement journey includes sustenance and optimizing of the performance, process performance, using high maturity best practices, We have sustained the CMMI level 5 for the last 12 years, and presently we are at 2.0 version. We have successfully adapted a 2.0 version, and business performance analysis is continuously used to prioritize the critical parameters and improve the product quality, productivity, and customer satisfaction. From 2016-17 onwards, we brought in the novel aspect of usability assessment and designing for usability. We even established a specific lab focusing on usability assessment itself. This has resulted in improved defects detection from validation testing, reduced factory acceptance test defects, of course, much lesser usability defects. We have reduced rework effort due to early detection of defects, and this has improved our productivity. We have improved the user interface. There is qualitative improvement with better look and feel, and quantitative improvement with respect to the quality attribute metrics. And of course, this has resulted in better customer satisfaction results. So if there are any questions, we would like to take it. But before that, I think I will stop the screen share, and my team has a small video to share. Maybe they can start the screen sharing and share that video.
Okay, ma'am.
Tester activity, user actions on sample entry fields, survey questionnaire.
This sequence is showing how our usability assessment is being performed in the lab. So the testers can perform the exercise, and we are continuously recording it. At the same time, the observer is watching it,
Preparations.
interactions, and there is a usability analyst who comes into picture, checks the recordings as well as the observer's notes, and performs the benchmarking against the usability standards.
Perfect. That's very, very interesting, Ms. Anna and Venkatalaxmi and the team. This is really interesting. You know, I think there are one question that I can entertain, Anna, at the moment, given the time. And I'll try to combine both the questions that have come up. One is something that you can answer quickly, which is, just like usability, have you found the need or warranted a need for focused attention on safety and security? You know, that's a question number one. And secondly, there is a very elaborate one which you may take a long more time, so I will share it offline with you to share with the audience, which is some tips on the process model principles to enable the integration of the requirements of various frameworks that you have been using with the overall business performance. You know, they would like to know those tips. But most importantly, similar to usability, have you seen the need, you know, for safety and security?
Yes, sir, definitely. I will take up. If you notice the initial slides, which is covered in our presentation itself, the causal analysis, we have shown very clearly that other than functionality, when we analyzed our later defects beyond the factory acceptance test and at operational on-field defects, there were two components which came almost neck to neck. That was security and usability. So these two aspects had come up in our 2015-16, that time when we did the business performance analysis, and we tackled both. Actually speaking, both were tackled. So for the security aspect, we set in place one vulnerability assessment and penetration testing lab, and we introduced a secure SDLC aspect. Along with our complete development lifecycle, we introduced the security right from requirement onwards, we built in the security. Parallel to that, we brought in the usability also. These were two initiatives, two HM best practices that we have introduced. Both have been separately analyzed because this particular topic we took up for the focus in this presentation. I tried to focus completely on the usability lab. Otherwise, we have an equally functional VAPT lab also. And that is one of our external services that we are providing, because we are certain empaneled to perform security audits also. So we take a
Very
vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, not only for our in-house products, but also for external teams. Usability
That's
so
very
far
nice.
we are doing for our own internal products.
Very
Thank you
nice,
so
ma'am.
much.
You know,
The other question,
really,
you can
yeah.
please share the question to us. We will be happy to answer it.
Absolutely, and I will certainly take your time on the weekend. You know, I'll make sure that, like, you know, our audience gets the response and the tips and tricks on integrating various frameworks, because I think that's a very fabulous journey in terms of looking at multiple frameworks with a philosophy of, you know, proving the compliance all the way to performance. And I think it's a very good summary of 20 plus years of work that has gone into making the organization a Navratna company in India. And I really, really appreciate all your efforts and the time, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.